At this point in my life, I'm 70 years old, and I have almost 40 years of experience as a psychotherapist. 7 years ago, I had a very aggressive cancer. And after my surgery and chemotherapy, I really became much more consciously aware of my own mortality and really started to think more deeply about the preciousness of time and what do I want to do with my time and who do I want to spend it with. And so one of the things I really began to think seriously about is passing on what I've learned as a psychotherapist that I want to leave in a certain way as a legacy to the therapists that are younger than myself. And from that came this book entitled Working from the Heart, a Therapist's Guide to Heart-Centered Psychotherapy. It took me almost 4 years to write it and to craft it. And what I want to talk about are some of the essential points of it, to encourage therapists, counselors of all kinds, including pastoral counselors, life coaches, and anyone who's really interested in the process of psychotherapy, to really bring the heart more into the work, the heart of the therapist, to encourage a counselor and a therapist to be more open-hearted. So one of the things that I've learned, and the research backs this up, is that when clients are asked what was really most helpful to me in the therapy, they invariably don't say the particular theory of the therapist or the techniques he used. They say, my therapist cared about me as a person. And so the paradox is that most of us who've come into this field, when we originally entered it, our motivation was a heart one, a heartfelt, soul-felt yearning to want to make a difference, to contribute to people's lives, to reduce human suffering, to help people with their problems. Yet, what happened for most of us, and I know for myself, that when we entered into training, what was emphasized was theories, techniques, being a professional. And by professional meant remaining emotionally distant, not getting involved. And the opposite is what's effective. That's been my experience, that over time I've learned how to open up my heart more and more. And so I encourage therapists to be more openly expressive of that caring. That's not to say that the techniques aren't important, the theories are important, being a professional is important, and it's important to be a compassionate presence, to have showing our clients acts of loving kindness, to showing them in various ways that we care about them. And so then folks benefit, the people who come to us, they benefit from not only our minds, but also from our hearts. In addition to that, I've found over a period of time that there are certain areas that our clients come to us for help with that can only really get the help that they need by engaging the heart of the therapist and the client more. One area is the area of self-forgiveness. At some point in therapy, every client comes to some issue that they need to be able to forgive themselves for. And because forgiveness occurs in the realm of the heart and higher realms of consciousness, rational techniques, cognitive techniques are not going to be effective, or they'll be minimally effective. All the people that I've ever worked with at some point reveal that they have difficulty in taking in love, that there's love available to them in their lives, but they're unable to receive it and let it penetrate inside. And so they have these unconscious patterns of blocking the love that's offered to them. A simple example of that, and it's a very common one, would be the difficulty that most of us have in simply taking in a compliment or being easily able to receive affection or to accept help when it's offered. I'm not really offering a new theory of therapy. That's not what we're talking about. Can be brought in and integrated into whatever your approach already is. This is just adding to it. So this can be synthesized with what we already do. So another area is the area of helping people to come to a resolution of a crisis or a big dilemma that's in their best interest. So at some point, every client will come to you with some big decision that they need to make. Sometimes they begin the therapy with that. Sometimes it just shows up as the process unfolds. So what I talk with people about is that the different thoughts and feelings that they're having that are in conflict with one another and producing a tremendous amount of internal tension, that they emanate from different parts of your personality. And what we need to be able to do is instead of working against each other, how do you get the parts of the personality to work with each other so you come up with some resolution of this big dilemma that's in the best interest of the total personality? What the most common thing people try to do is develop a rational approach. So they make lists of pros and cons, and they say, well, if the list of pros is bigger than the list of cons, well, that's the way I should go. That is a generally ineffective technique. So I've developed an approach which I call the counsel, which is a way of getting all the parts of the personality to work together with a sense of compassion for all the different parts, and using also some access to the higher self or higher parts of consciousness to come to a resolution of what's in the best interest of the total. When somebody comes into my office, the first thing I say to them is welcome. So I'm genuinely feel that way, that I'm really glad to see them. And when they come at other times, I'm say, good to see you again. Or at the end of the session, I look forward to seeing you next week. So that you're creating an atmosphere where the person is beginning more and more to feel that here's a safe place that I can open myself to, and this person is a compassionate presence. This is a place of sanctuary. It's a safe refuge where you can expect me reliably to be non-judgmental and caring of the things that you're struggling with.